Yo, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of What the Fuck is Going On in Australia right now. So, you've obviously seen the title of this video. Feminist politicians and influencers push for more laws to hurt men in family court. Let me explain. It's not so much laws in the family court that they're trying to change. They're trying to change laws about how police should respond to certain things that aren't actually a thing or are a thing or are not provable, at least. It's basically making false allegations much more easy to make, and it's criminalizing things that shouldn't be criminalized, or at least to some extent. Let me explain. I've got this article here. New South Wales Labor oppose bill to criminalize coercive control and jail perpetrators. And I think that that's a good thing that that's happened. But the fact that this bill is being put forward to begin with is absolutely psychotic. Because with the Duluth model, and if you haven't seen the Duluth model before, I'm going to put the link in the description. Go to the duluthmodel.org page, click on download wheels in the top right-hand corner, get the first one that's there, the power and control wheel, have a look at it. You will see exactly what the Duluth model is, and it's very, very concerning. And the only reason that I'm talking about New South Wales, given that they've actually shut this down, is not only to highlight what's being pushed forward to begin with, but also to segue into what's actually happening in Queensland right now. So there's a politician called Di Farmer. Now, Di Farmer is she's a feminist. She is a minister for women. She's all of the things that you kind of go, oh, more of this crap, right? And look, that's not to say that everything that she talks about is complete nonsense, but that is to say that some of what she talks about is complete nonsense. Now, when I go into this next page here, you're going to see this article. Queensland Labor becomes latest party to tackle coercive control, right? Let's dig further into this. The Palaszczuk government has issued an election promise to tackle coercive control on several fronts, including training programs for first responders and domestic violence caseworkers, community awareness raising, and consultation process. So what this means, including Duluth model indoctrination programs for the people that get to the people first, that then refer them to the government agencies that the feminists want them to refer them to, and DV caseworkers who will be the people that manage this process moving forward after the first responders have applied the Duluth model and moved these people on to the next stage in the process. Community awareness campaign, aka indoctrination campaign. Consultation process means come to us, the DV experts in Duluth model, and we'll tell you everything that you need to know to make policies that agree with our way of thinking. In a statement released Sunday night, Minister for the Prevention of DV and Family Violence, Di Farmer, said that while coercive control is mentioned in Queensland's current DV and family violence legislation, specifically in definitions of DV, economic abuse, and family violence, it is clearly insufficient. So, guys, just to let you know, nothing will ever be sufficient for these people. They cannot be satisfied. If you give them an inch, they will take a mile. They will take a mile. Right? According to an influential, so we need to get, it says here, we need to get this absolutely 100% right. There are a few governments in the world that have specifically legislated against coercive control and where they have conviction rates are low. Yeah, because you can't prove the things that you're trying to criminalize. That's why. And women do it more than men do, but men can't prove it because the Duluth model says that men are the only perpetrators and women are the only victims. They never take men seriously. And then we've got feminists going, well, if men are really victims, they'd go to the police. Yeah, we do, and we get told to fuck off and to leave you. And then when we leave you, you give us a false accusation. Like, women, you will never have to deal with the shit that us men deal with. So stop trying to tell us what our experience is like, because you've clearly got no clue. The fact that the feminist movement is still so strong, the fact that you still think that you're oppressed and that you get the raw end of the deal, you've got no clue as to the reality of the situation, right? You think You think that you're on the receiving end of a raw deal. As men, we can tell you what a raw deal is. Yes, I know, ladies, there's some things that disproportionately affect you, but there's some things that disproportionately affect us. And you refuse to acknowledge any of it. And why should we acknowledge any of your experiences if you refuse to acknowledge ours? Right? Is this not a two-way street? Right? You want a two-way street in the workplace, but you won't give us a two-way street in any area. You won't give us a two-way street in anti-discrimination laws and exemptions. You won't give us a two-way street in affirmative action. You won't give us a two-way street in family court. You won't give us a two-way street in legislation. You won't give us a two-way street with a minister for women versus a minister for men. You only want things your way, and you refuse to acknowledge when things are your way and are not our way. So why should we give a shit about you? Like, that's the question I pose to you. Why should we give a shit about you if you don't give a shit about us? Right? It doesn't matter. You're so ideologically possessed, feminists, that whenever we even suggest for one moment that things might be a little bit skewed and not unfairly in your direction, but maybe a little bit unfairly in our directions in a particular area, oh, freaking hell breaks loose. End of the world. Such a misogynist. Go fuck yourselves. Go fuck yourselves. All right, let's read on. Farmer also emphasized that many people living with coercive behavior do not realize what they're experiencing as domestic violence. Yeah, because for men, what that coercive behavior that you've outlined is what we call a normal relationship with a woman. And when we find someone that we call a unicorn, that's just someone who's not abusive. So, feminists, welcome to our world. And still not even welcome to our world. Right. Proposals outlined by the Palaszczuk government's approach would include gearing up the justice system. It's already geared up. Fuck off. Let's move on to the next one. The Queensland Cabinet Ministerial Directive. This is a Queensland government. Palaszczuk government to get coercive control right. Well, you're starting off on the wrong foot if you are taking it from a feminist angle. Minister for the Prevention of DV and Family Violence, Di Farmer, and a re-elected Palaszczuk government would address coercive control. And of course, difficulty of proving coercive control and demonstrating intent beyond a reasonable doubt. Yeah, funny that. So when women are abusive towards men, what do? We go to the police and say, oh, she won't stop harassing me at work and asking me where I'm going. She won't let me hang out with my friends. Cops are just going to be like, that's life. Because it is. Because that's almost every single relationship with a woman. With a small level of exception. And those exceptions are getting less and less and less and less and less. And you girls, like, oh my God. And you sit here and go, where have all the good men gone? Why don't men want to get married to us? Because of shit like this. And you keep voting for these clowns thinking, oh, I get a benefit. Yeah, but we don't. So we're out. See you later. Sayonara. Time out. Not doing it. Did I just really click my fingers like that? I did. What the actual fuck? Anyway, let's move on. And thank you to Shiny. I think it's Baibusa. I've got all the text on my computer really small so I can fit more on the screen. Shiny Baibusa, thank you for that super chat, brother. Says love and respect from the other side of the globe. Please get up the next Giants of MGTOW meetings soon. Keep fighting the good fight. I'm going to email all those guys after this. I promise. Thank you for that. Okay. So this is Di Farmer here. This is Di Farmer. She's Labor government. That's like the Australian version of the Democrats. And the Greens are like the radical Democrats, like the AOCs and the Ilhan Omars and stuff like that. But this woman's kind of like, she's halfway to being a Green, I'm telling you. We've got here. She's got 2 daughters, right? So she's got no sons. So she's got no idea what boys go through. She's got no idea. That's something interesting. All of these, most of the advocates for women and anti-DV all don't have sons, or, you know, they're married to a husband that just does whatever they say and never challenges them. Oh, by the way, Di is the Minister for Child Safety, Youth and Women, and Minister for the Prevention. All right, so it's all only about women. She's only got women's interests at heart. All right. And so she's got a bachelor This is her degree. She's got a Bachelor of Speech Therapy, and now she's a feminist politician. Just shows, like, and she got a postgraduate diploma of administrative studies. She got a postgrad diploma in paper pushing. Oh my god! Oh my god! So this is the kind of degrees these feminists are getting, and why I increasingly say that university is just useless. Now, there was an article that I actually had before, but it appears to have escaped me. But it was basically around an incident. In fact, let me just quickly check this. There we go. So this is on this article here about the Queensland Labor. Where else is coercive control being criminalised? England, Wales, Ireland, and Scotland. And I can't remember if it was in England or Ireland. I'm pretty sure it was in England. The first case of coercive control was where a woman was the perpetrator. I did a video on that a while back. And arguments for and against state legislation. What is the Deputy Dean of Law at Deakin University, Marilyn McMahon, and has been piling in on this. Now, at the end, they have 1-800-RESPECT National Helpline. And this is what I really wanted to show you here. 1-800-RESPECT National Helpline, Women's Crisis Line, and the Men's Referral Service. So I don't know if you can see in the bottom left-hand corner, but it's got 1-800-RESPECT.org.au. Women's Crisis Line is dvconnect.org. And Men's Referral Service is ntv.org.au. So let's have a look at these websites that I'm referring to. So that 1-800-RESPECT is the same one that's funded by the Australian Government Department of Social Services and run by Medibank Health, who is a private health insurer. The same Medibank that has this app. See, Medibank Private Limited, right there. Right there. The same app. It says many women experience sexual assault, family and domestic violence. It's brought to you by 1-800-RESPECT under the National Plan to Reduce Violence Against Women and Their Children, multi-billion-dollar federally funded thing run by feminists with about 6 or 7 different programs backing it, all from the same angle. Now, this DV Connect, which was the women's crisis line that I had, is this: creating pathways for a life free from violence and fear. Women's line. So what's women's line? We've got women's line here. If you're experiencing domestic, family, or sexual violence, call women's line. Men's line. Let's have a look here. Call men's line if you're experiencing it. Oh, really? 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 Of course, they say men using domestic violence first and then experiencing. I don't know. I really don't challenge DV. I really don't trust DV Connect. Hey, like I really, really don't trust them. Look at the flags down the bottom here. Right? And look, this is just a bunch of SJWs. And of course, at the bottom, they promote, here we go, dvconnect.org/1-800-RESPECT, which goes back to this, and this. So it's all tied in together, guys. And NTV, which was the Men's Referral Service, working together to end men's family violence. Yes, you heard it. Now we've got here an article that was written on domestic abuse. The psychology of coercive control remains a legal battlefield. Not everyone was celebrating when Sally Challen's her conviction for killing her husband was quashed. The backlash on social media indicates we have a long way to go. We've always got a long way to go. Justin Trudeau says, we've got a long way to go. Barack Obama, we've got a long way to go. Michelle Obama, we've got a long way to go. Joe Biden, we've got a long way to go. Kamala Harris, we've got a long way to go before we keep women safe and we give everyone a fair go. No, I'm not falling for it. I know what you're up to. Interestingly, they can't understand why. Interestingly, that backlash comes from women as well as men. There are often women who claim to not be able to understand Challen's actions as depicted in court. That may be because there's missing pieces of the puzzle you haven't reported on. Maybe that's why. Why didn't she leave? They ask, convinced she would have behaved different. They would have behaved differently in her place. Yeah, because she's got all the mechanisms to leave. But look, I understand that some people are afraid to leave. But if you've got all of these services available to you, take them. If you really want to, leave, go. Don't go kicking a dude out of his house when you've been living there for free, if that's what's been happening. And there's all sorts of different situations. I'm not saying that's the only example of a scenario that can unfold, but that's one example. Here we go. They think they wouldn't have ended up in an abusive relationship in the first place. Even if they had, they would have found a way to end the relationship appropriately by simply leaving or filing for divorce, not by disposing of their partner. Not by disposing of their partner. There we go. So I had a look, and guys, you know how I always say to you that philosophy, psychology, sociology, criminology, and all of these arts degrees, for the most part, are just feminist indoctrination? I wonder if you can hear a bit of that indoctrination in this individual here, Charlotte Bishop. Now, Charlotte Bishop is a lecturer in law at the University of Exeter. So if you're thinking about sending your kids there to study law, don't. Charlotte joined Exeter Law School as an associate lecturer in 2014 and is now a lecturer in law. She graduated from University of Kent in 2004 with a first-class honours degree in law and the Kent Law School Departmental Prize for Special Achievement in Law, and completed her doctoral thesis. So she's a PhD, permanent head damage, in 2004. Charlotte's research interests are broad and interdisciplinary, crossing the boundaries of socio-legal research into psychology, sociology, philosophy, and criminology. What did I tell you? What did I tell you? These are all red flags. If you are going to date a girl, if you're going anywhere near a woman who studied any of these disciplines and doesn't openly declare herself as anti-feminist, run, and run fast, and run now. That's what I'm going to tell you, for your own safety. So, here we go. Charlotte's research takes a gendered approach to the issue of domestic violence. What? A gendered approach? Gee, I didn't see that coming from a feminist. My God. All right, let's move on. So this was 3 months ago, but I'm only just hearing about this now. Check this out. Prior false complaints cannot be admitted in New South Wales grapefruit trial court rules. A jury in a New South Wales grapefruit trial cannot. Right. So you got a jury who's basically sat there to try and make a decision about the worthiness of a person's testimony. And they do. The reason that they do this is to try and avoid biases, and they want to get a bit more of a balanced picture and discussion, right? Thank you to Grin Reaper for just becoming a new member. I'm going to be doing some members-only live streams soon and some members-only chats, so make sure you are signed up if you want to get your mittens on that. All right, so here we go. In a decision on Friday, a 5-bench judge of the court said New South Wales laws protecting sexual assault complainants from being cross-examined about their history also stopped evidence of prior false complaints being admitted in court. So what they're saying is they don't want the jury to actually know that this person has a history of lying, because if they know that this person has a history of being a legally proven liar in numerous previous cases, they don't want the jury knowing about that, because then the woman might not be believed. Well, I'd say that if they've made previous false allegations, then there's good reason to question their credibility. Ever heard of the story, The Boy Who Cried Wolf? Well, this is the girl who cried grapefruit. It's a good line. I'm going to use that more often. Chief Justice Tom Bathurst said parliamentary speeches make it clear that the purpose of the statutory prohibition is to prevent embarrassing and humiliating cross-examination about past activities which it was believed was a deterrent in reporting offenses. Wait, no. Not past sexual activities, past false sexual allegations. There's a big difference. Very, very big difference. Let's move on. Now, Julie Bindel. Juries have no place in grapefruit trials. They simply can't be trusted. Yeah, because you can't trust anyone but the feminists who are running the courts, can you? The conviction rates for grapefruit have long been shockingly low. This is what led one Labor MP and Coffee to suggest doing away with juries in trials. I support this prevailing myth, such as she was asking for it. He's handsome and does not need to grapefruit. And if she didn't want it, she would close her legs. And look, there are still people that say that, and I'm opposed to that kind of talk because, if something's happened, we shouldn't discredit someone's experience. If I'm going to practice, I need to practice what I preach, right? I say to women, you need to listen to men's experience. So I'm going to listen to yours if it's legitimate and it's not false and it's not made up. Now that we've cleared that up, shout out to Hold the Truth Hostage. Amen to that. Voting for women who are not first option during war, shameful. Women in political office is to push for more government. Sydney, you need video call segments. I don't know what you mean by video call segments. Leave a comment. You don't need to super chat again, but I'll catch that just so I know what you mean. Anyway, in 2003, I sat through a number of trials as part of research. And Chad Evans, the footballer who was convicted, but later had his conviction quashed and was acquitted at a retrial that relied on evidence of the complainant's alleged history. Despite some male barristers arguing that feminist campaigners were overreacting. Surprise, surprise, feminist campaigners overreacting. The case showed us how the women in cases are often more on trial than the defendant. It's not true. The dude's on trial big time. Big time. Big time. All right. And that was barristers say overreaction to Ched case. Look, I just opened that in a new tab for my own research, so I'll look at that later. But this is the Julie Bindel that wrote this article. This is the same Julie Bindel. Listen very, very carefully. Very carefully.
Women and girls. But men have to recognize that the first step in being a feminist ally is relinquishing some of their power, because ultimately feminism is about taking that power away from men.
Yeah, that's what Julie Bindel thinks. And Hold the Truth Hostage says, get StreamYard so you can share the stream link and have some video callers on to talk about the topic. You know what? I actually have StreamYard and I can do that. So I might. You know what? I'm going to do that tomorrow. I don't want to jump in and do it on this particular stream just because I've got a bit to get through and I don't want this to be an hour-long stream. Thank you, Ricardo. Says, salute, Sydney, man. I appreciate you, Ricardo. Thank you very much for that super chat. All right. Scrap juries in grapefruit trials, Labor MP suggests. So Anne Coffey she's saying she wants to get rid of it. And I think, was it before? Yeah, so that same one that's from Julie Bindel, that's also referred to in this article here. Anyway, shockingly low charging and conviction rates, because they just want conviction rates through the roof. That's what they want. That's what they want. Now, while we're talking about false allegations that apparently almost never happen, Nikki Iovino. Gemma Beale. Kavanaugh. He got and the people that accused him admitted they were lying in the end. They admitted it. It's like, well, there's no point holding up the lie now. He's been confirmed. We didn't get our political goal, so I guess we can just fess up and get on with our lives. Now, there was a study done apparently claiming how low these cases were. And this wasn't a study done by a criminologist or anyone else. This was a study done by David Lisak, Department of Psychology. What did I tell you about psychology, guys? One of the nicest women that I ever knew. She was genuinely, I thought she was one of a kind. She was a beautiful soul. She went to school and studied psychology, And then she did her master's and she started talking about toxic masculinity and carrying on and became a right POS. Oh, Duke lacrosse team. Remember that? More false allegations. Young man commits suicide after a lady he rejected falsely accused him of rape. What about no means no, ladies? What about no means no? And see, this Nigerian dude, right? Hey, you like, oh man, you want to talk Black Lives Matter? This dude's lives mattered, but she didn't give a shit. And what was it? He said, she said, men, I think it is very adolescent for you all to reach out to me expecting me to give you any more information than I already have. Reach out to your past partners / victims. I'm not giving any stories to anyone. If you'd like to post publicly, I will share it. She says, oh, and the harassment was not physical. That's all I'll disclose. And he said, again, thanks for your response. I thought we had a better relationship than this 90, but it's cool. I can't shoot the messenger. No one comes to mind still. My phone's still blowing up, and I myself, I'm still shocked. Man, this poor dude. The young man begged the lady to tell him who he was alleged to have grapefruited, but she refused and said it only said it was a non-physical sexual assault. So it wasn't actually grapefruit at all. It wasn't grapefruit. Right? As usual, he was attacked and mocked by social media users, not even allowed to explain himself. He couldn't stand the humiliation and killed himself because his name's all over the internet forever every time people search it up. And this is a little thought who got upset that he rejected her and went all over the internet branding him as a grapefruiter. She's not even like, is it worth him dying over this, really? And then Liam Allen. It took him 2 years to clear his name. He just returned home from football practice and was in a dressing gown and the police called. I thought I'd perhaps witnessed a crime, he said softly. It was only when he was in the back of the police car and an officer pulled out a notepad from which he began to read a series of allegations made against him by an ex-girlfriend, not even current girlfriend, that he realized this wasn't the case. Instead, it appeared that he was the one who'd committed a crime. And it was one of the most heinous imaginable, grapefruit. So Liam was a criminology and criminal psychology student and assumed the legal system would work correctly. Well, I'm really sorry to say this, Liam, but you were wrong because it is not a justice system. It is a legal system. So it is the legal system. The legal system works within the law. And the law is that you're the bad guy and she's the victim. That's the law. Thanks, Duluth model. Thanks for nothing. Link in the description of a Duluth model after this live finishes. So now that I've got that out of the way, let's go here. Law professor falsely accused wins defamation case. Minnesota law professor has won him the largest defamation penalty in state history against a woman who accused him of grapefruit. And he'd been. Officials had jailed him for 3 weeks in 2017 after his former lover, not even wife, lover, Morgan Wright, accused him of grapefruit. 3 years later, the judge awarded $1.2 million in economic losses, reputational, emotional, and punitive damages, the last of which only amounts to $100,000 of the total sum. Moreno ruled that Wright's plethora of allegations against Parisi lack credibility, adding that her accusations were false, made with malice. She injured Parisi as a direct result of her untruthful narrative crusade. Parisi was in jail when his mother fell ill and passed away. So he didn't even get to say goodbye to his dying mother because of this vindictive thought. Right? YouTube, if you even think about taking this video down, go and read the article. I'll put the link in the description to Fox News about the US professor. Tell me that this is not wrong. Tell me. If your mother was rotting in jail, right? If you were rotting in jail for something you didn't do, moderator, and your mother was dying and you couldn't see your dying mother because someone lied about you doing something you didn't do you think that would be okay? This isn't a hate speech. This is nothing other than exposing the truth about what's been going on for far too long. And if you don't like it, that's on you, not me. but you can't silence me for telling the truth and doing nothing else but sharing mainstream media articles, the same mainstream media that you give platforms on YouTube. Now, this is from Sydney Criminal Lawyers, and this talks about how a complainant's history of false allegations is inadmissible. Now, let me skip down to this. False allegations are a criminal offense. Yes, they are, but they are not punishable in the family law by mandatory requirement. In family law, it is up to the judge. And the judges are all trained in the Duluth model. They're all trained in family violence training, which is all through the universities. It's all under a feminist framework, and they're all freaking stitched up. It's a stitch up in the family court. It's not like the criminal court, right? Criminal law doesn't apply in the family court. Sydney man Stephen Black was in prison for more than 10 months on false sexual allegations and is now suing police who he said doggedly pursued him, despite the fact that the 14-year-old girl who made the accusations against him, 14-year-old girl making false accusations, ruining people's lives, having them in prison for 10 months, said he had a circumcised penis when in fact he does not. There we go. Done. There's your proof that it's a lie. No. But hashtag believe women. Go fuck yourself. The same girl falsely claimed that she was gang grapefruited by a carload of men after leaving a house party, which was investigated by 10 detectives and dismissed only days before Mr. Black was to go to trial. So she said that she was gang grapefruited by a carload of men at the age of 14 at a house party that she shouldn't have been out to begin with, by the way, just saying. And now this dude is going to jail for 10 months, right, over false allegations that she made that were proven to be false. This is insane. Lock her up. Several years ago, the Australian Institute of Family Studies speculated that the percentage of false sexual assault accusations may be somewhere between 2 to 10%. This figure is based on a 2010 US study, which looked at reported cases in the country over a 10-year period. However, guys, I think you need to bookmark this page the next time a feminist quotes the 2% clause. Here we go. The report authors, the people that authored this report saying that it was only 2%, they acknowledged that the figure was unreliable because many complainants were not reflected in official statistics because they were baseless. And many would argue the actual figure is significantly higher than that speculated. This is coming from criminal lawyers. There is also a growing concern that more false accusations could be made in the wake of the Royal Commission into Institutional Responses to child sexual abuse. Of course, the high-profile Me Too movement, which has also been a big contributing factor. While genuine victims have every right to seek justice, those who make false accusations not only cause innocent people to go through hell, they waste public resources and can also make it more difficult for genuine victims to have their complaints believed and acted upon. That is straight fact. Straight fact. That is 100% true. That's exactly right. So by allowing women to get away from lying when they do tell lies, by allowing them to do that, what you're actually doing is making things worse. Period. Now, I can't remember which of these articles it was in, and I'm going to have to go back through this because I've done a lot of digging today and I'm kind of fried right now. But after this video, I'm actually going to drop a link right at the top, separated from everything else, saying that the rate is more like 8 to 10% false allegations, if not more. And this is based on another study. I love studies. Right? Isn't it funny how studies can reveal different things? Interesting. Interesting indeed. Anyway, gentlemen, as always, I would love to get your respectful thoughts about this video in the comment below. Also, please smash this thumbs up. Share this video with guys who are dating thotties. Share it with guys who are going to university. Share it with guys who flirt with women at work. Share it with everyone you know because everyone needs to hear this and how dangerous this is. How unbelievably dangerous this is for men who have got girlfriends, who are cohabitating with women, all these sorts of things. Because it seriously is dangerous, like genuinely dangerous. And if you would like to support this channel also without making a financial contribution, you can head on over to sydneymctal.com/Brave. Download the Brave browser to replace your Chrome browser or your Mozilla browser or Microsoft Edge if you are using that at the moment. It is basically using the same layout as Chrome, just as easy to use as Chrome, a few extra features and much better privacy from Google. So go and check that out. You can also drop super chats as all of the other kind gentlemen in this video have done so today. I appreciate all of you gentlemen who have left me a super chat. And I also have a PayPal, which is, again, going to be in the link below, but it's paypal.me/Sydney MGTOW, as you can see on the screen right now. Anyway, gentlemen, I appreciate you. I look forward to my next video. I do have StreamYard, so I might start doing some members-only live streams and very, very soon. Now that I've got a few members, including Aussie MGTOW Bear and some of the other guys that have, sorry, I missed all of the other people that have got the little green logo. The chat is kind of hard to keep track of when I'm in my zone. By the way, shout out to Ryan Lincoln Gaming. Ryan has got an incredible story, and with his blessing, I will share that, but after I've spoken to him in a couple of days. It's a pretty horrific story. Anyway, guys, I'm out of here for now. I appreciate you. If you want to donate, PayPal or Super Chat, crypto can help me out by downloading Brave, all of the good stuff. Share this video, like it, all that stuff. I'm just going to stop waffling now. I'm going to go get something to eat because I'm kind of hungry and thirsty, and maybe that's why I'm carrying on the way I am. But I will be back in the next video. I appreciate you. Peace.